Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the legendary Steel Psychic-type Pokemon Jirachi, the Wish Pokémon. Though some would choose to speak of their existence as a myth more than fact, Jirachi are powerful and unique creatures that more than earn their status as legendary Pokemon through their incredible power. Jirachi possess a white main body with small legs that are little more than an afterthought to them, as they generally use their psychic power to float above the ground at all times. They have tiny, four-fingered hands with sleeve-like flaps of skin that have the appearance of small capes, and they further have a pair of yellow, sleeve-like wings that grow out of their backs, though their actual purpose is still unknown. They possess a pair of deep, black eyes with small blue triangles on their lower sides with a medium-sized, lipless mouth, and their belly is marked with what looks to be a slit of some sort, but it is in fact a closed eye, or their true eye, which is the primary source of their most powerful attacks. Their head is adorned with a yellow, three-pointed headguard made of metal that vaguely resembles part of a star symbol, with a pair of bulbous extensions that hang down on both sides of their face. Hanging from each point of the star is a blue piece of organically grown paper-like material that can be written on, referred to as wish tags, and they serve as a critical piece in understanding the power that these strange beasts possess that sets them apart from other Pokemon. While Jirachi might not outwardly seem to be anything truly powerful or special, their appearance heavily belittles what they are actually capable of, as they have the miraculous power to grant wishes. It is unknown exactly how this is possible, but the best theory that has been put forth is that these creatures are able to use psychic energy to warp the fabric of space-time so much that it creates a portal to another universe entirely, and, under their control, transports something from another universe into the one they currently occupy, effectively copying and pasting the element into this universe. While this might not be completely out of the realm of possibility when it comes to the creation or transportation of physical objects, this power extends to non-physical wishes as well, such as wishing for good luck or something of the sort, and thus its complete mechanics are still a relative mystery. While there are more powerful psychic-type Pokemon out there that can outmatch Jirachi in terms of raw power, only they seem to be gifted with the ability to focus this power into committing this act of wish granting, and in combination with their extreme rarity, it more than helps legitimize them as legendary Pokemon worth seeking out. This kind of advanced power translates well into their overall combat abilities as well, as they gain access to a number of psychic-type attacks and techniques and are able to utilize them to an impressive degree. Though, for the most part, this does not translate into their other type assignment, with their metallic heads primarily existing as a form of defense against potential attackers. However, it is noted that Jirachi on their own are not always capable of granting wishes, as some wishes can be so difficult to grant that they require an incredible amount of power to bring forth. As such, in order to bring out their full power, these creatures require the gathering of light energy from the stars in order to bring out their full potential, which requires them to open up their true eye on their belly, using it as a focusing beacon in order to create a large enough portal to bring forth the outcome of the wish it has been asked to grant. While they normally do not use this level of power in any sort of conflict, if pressed, they can utilize their true eye to deliver a devastating blow with their special signature attack, known as the Doom Desire attack. In essence, this special attack functions very much like the Future Sight attack, but its effects can be far, far more devastating. In using this move, Jirachi open their true eye and make a wish of their own with their powers, gathering starlight into their bodies and focusing it before opening up a portal and firing a massive beam of light energy into it. Afterwards, Jirachi can continue to function as normal and everything will seem calm. But in reality, the portal that they opened leads into an unstable pocket dimension. After a few minutes, or about the equivalent of 2 combat turns, the pocket dimension's instability causes it to implode on itself, and the energy used to create this space is released through a portal above whatever opponent is present alongside the initial beam of light, blasting the opposition with a concentrated bundle of pure light energy. Because the attack deals damage with pure light, it is considered to be a Steel-type attack, and the only one that Jirachi get access to naturally. And while it may take a while for it to work, it is capable of bypassing moves like Protect, and is recognized as the most powerful Steel-type attack available to a Pokemon outside of Z moves, and in turn is a devastating weapon when used by these otherwise adorable Pokemon. As a whole, in fact, Jirachi are actually powerful fighters, and can make great use of their natural abilities quite well, as their wish-granting properties allow them to increase the intensity of secondary effects with certain moves, and in turn grants them access to Serene Grace as their only ability. Furthermore, their stats are fairly solid overall, being above average in most stats for a fully evolved Psychic and Steel-type Pokemon, the only exceptions being their base attack and defense stats as a fully evolved Steel-type Pokemon, and their base special attack stat as a fully evolved Psychic-type Pokemon. As such, while they might not appear to be so, Jirachi are dangerous fighters that can more than show off their true power to those who would dare challenge them to a fight. Unfortunately for most, finding a Jirachi is far from an easy task because of their considerable rarity, and being able to actively interact with one is even more unlikely as a result of their need to hibernate to charge their power. While they might be capable of incredible things, the powers of Jirachi are incredibly taxing on their minds and bodies, and they only have a limited amount of energy within them to use, and once they run out, usually after about a week of activity, they must rest for 1,000 years in order for their body to fully heal itself internally so they can wield their full power once again. This can sometimes be abated if they are awoken by the sound of a pure voice singing, but such things are extremely rare to observe in modern times. While in this state, these creatures will generally encase themselves in a cocoon made of quartz charged with psychic energy, which acts as a recuperating stasis pod. The cocoon material itself is nigh indestructible, so little other than a severe natural disaster is capable of destroying Jirachi or the cocoon they are encased within, so there is little worry of them ever going away. However, when they form this cocoon, they normally leave the wish tags that are attached to their bodies exposed, with their main body only coming out of their cocoon 10 to 100 years before it is time for them to awaken fully. Jirachi leave them exposed so those that find them, but otherwise are unable to wake them or be around long enough for Jirachi to wake from their slumber, can write down their wishes on the material. When Jirachi then finally awaken, they will look to these wish tags, and will grant the wish of that person to their descendants the best they can, showing a level of care for those that come to them not readily observed in other Pokemon of their type. This also means that few creatures are ever willing to try and actively harm these beings, but those that do wish to use them without any thought for their safety and health will find themselves in a bit of a pickle, as even while they are asleep, if their crystalline cocoon is breached, Jirachi can still use their psychic power to fight back even while they are asleep, and they are no less powerful than normal within this state, making any fight against them an extremely difficult and harrowing one. While Jirachi are usually hidden away from the public eye, and are thus considered to be mythical to some, there is one event from the recent past involving a Jirachi that should be taken note of: the Millennium Comet Incident. A Jirachi located within a haven of nature in the Hoenn region, known by the locals as Farina, would awaken every 1,000 years in correlation with the appearance of a rare comet, known by the locals as the Millennium Comet, and would absorb the energy within the comet in order to expel it out upon the life forms within Farina, to grant the local flora the strength needed to grow and stay healthy through many generations, despite the otherwise harsh conditions of their local environment. 15 years ago, however, during the comet's last sighting, a former member of Team Magma, known as Butler, attempted to use that particular Jirachi to do what no one had ever done before at the time: resurrect the, believed to be long gone, legendary Pokemon Groudon. He had in his possession a fossilized piece of Groudon hide, and had attempted to resurrect it many years prior with technology alone, but in failing to do so, he was kicked out of Team Magma. Frustrated, Butler went so far as to steal the Jirachi from a group of local kids who had awakened it at the time of the incident, forcing it to use its full wish-granting powers to directly absorb the energy of the Millennium Comet and grant Butler's hefty wish. Fortunately, as we know now, Groudon was not extinct, and is still very much alive today. So Butler's wish was flawed. Without a true creature to pull from, due to it already existing in this universe, the wish's outcome was inverted, and led to the creation of a being that reflected not Groudon, but Butler himself. Effectively a giant fake Groudon that wanted only to suck the life out of everything it touched, simply because it could. Butler realized his mistake too late, and would have been the cause of many lost lives if it had not been for the courageous efforts of the children who awakened the Jirachi. Through their efforts, they were able to free and revitalize Jirachi, giving it enough power to destroy and effectively reabsorb the monstrous fake Groudon with a super-powered Doom Desire attack. After the incident, the Jirachi involved went back to sleep in Farina, while Butler and those that still cared for him moved on to a better life in different parts. Though the chances of any individual ever running into one of these creatures may be slim to none, Jirachi are nonetheless powerful entities that can be both a miracle and a nightmare depending upon how you interact with them. Their impressive offensive powers and incredible Doom Desire attack can easily leave other Pokemon a crumpled and seared heap. And while they might not like to fight that much, they will do whatever it takes to keep themselves safe, so caution is recommended if encountering them ever becomes a possibility. If you are lucky enough to find one though, and feel like making a wish, never forget the old proverb about being careful what you wish for. It might just be a saying to most, but when these wish makers are involved, you can guarantee that your words will come back to haunt you and your descendants if you aren't careful about how you word your deepest desire. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description. With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.